winds, storms, and cyclones. Learning about winds, storms. Storms are created when a center of low pressure develops with a system of high pressure surrounding it. This combination of opposing forces can create winds and result in the formation of storm clouds. Orissa was hit by a cyclone with wind speed of 200 kilometers per hour on 18th October 1999. The cyclone smashed 45,000 houses, making 7 lakh people homeless. On 29th October the same year, a second cyclone with wind speed of 260 kilometers per hour hit Orissa again. It was accompanied by water waves about 9 meters high. Thousands of people lost their lives. Property worth crores of rupees was destroyed. The cyclone affected agriculture, transport, communication, and electricity supply. What are cyclones? How are they formed? Why are they so destructive? Let us seek answers to some of these questions. We begin with some activities involving air. These activities will clarify some basic features concerning a cyclone. Before we begin, remember that the moving air is called the wind. Air exerts pressure. Activity. Take a tin can with a lid and fill it approximately half with water. Heat the can on a candle. Flame till the water boils. Let the water boil for a few minutes. Blow out the candle. Immediately put the lid tightly on the can. Be careful in handling the hot can. Put the can carefully in a wash basin. Pour fresh water over the can. What happens to the shape of the can? The shape of the can gets distorted. As water is pumped over the can, some steam in the can condenses into water, reducing the amount of air inside. The pressure of air inside the can decreases than the pressure exerted by the air from outside the can. As a result, the can gets compressed. This activity confirms that air exerts pressure. If we are in a boat, it is not easy to row if there is wind coming from the opposite direction. We find it difficult to ride a bicycle against the direction of the wind. We know that we have to fill air into the bicycle tube to keep it tight. Also, we know that a bicycle tube overfilled with air may burst. All these experiences show that air exerts pressure. It is due to this air pressure that the leaves of trees, banners, or flags flutter when the wind is blowing. High-speed winds are accompanied by reduced air pressure. Take a boiling tube. Stretch a balloon tightly over the neck of the tube. You can use a tape to make it tight. Pour some hot water in a beaker. Insert the boiling tube with a balloon in the hot water. Observe for 2 to 3 minutes for any change in shape of the balloon. Balloon is inflated when the boiling tube is placed in hot water, from the first observation we conclude that air expands on heating. Take the tube out, let it cool down to the room temperature. Take some ice-cold water in another beaker and place the tube with the balloon in cold water for 2 to 3 minutes. Balloon gets deflated when the tube is kept in cold water. We see that the size of balloon increased when kept in hot water. Indeed, and the size of the balloon is reduced when it is inserted in ice-cold water. Air expands on heating. Activity. Take 2 paper bags or empty paper cups of the same size. Hang the 2 bags in the inverted position on the 2 ends of a wooden stick. Tie a piece of thread in the middle of the stick. Hold the stick by the thread as in a balance. Put a burning candle below one of the bags. Observe what happens. As the warm air rises up, it pushes the bag above the candle. The disturbance of the balance suggests that the warm air is lighter than the cold air. It is important to remember that on heating, the air expands and occupies more space. When the same thing occupies more space, it becomes lighter. The warm air is therefore lighter than the cold air. That is the reason that the smoke goes up. Wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth. These situations are: A. Uneven heating between the equator and the poles. We have learnt in geography that regions close to the equator get maximum heat from the sun. The air in these regions get warm. The warm air rises and the cooler air from the regions in the 0 to 30 degrees latitude belt on either side of the equator moves in. These winds blow from the north and the south towards the equator. At the poles, the air is colder than at latitudes above 60 degrees. The warm air at these latitudes rises up and the cold wind from the polar regions rushes in to take its place. In this way, wind circulation is set up from the poles to the warmer latitudes. The winds would have flown in the north-south direction from north to south or from south to north. A change in direction is, however, caused by the rotation of the earth. B. Uneven heating of land and water. In summer, near the equator, the land warms up faster, and most of the time the temperature of the land is higher than that of water in the oceans. The air over the land gets heated and rises. This causes the winds to flow from the oceans towards the land. These are monsoon winds. The word monsoon is derived from the Arabic word mawsam, which means season. In winter, the direction of the wind flow gets reversed. It flows from the land to the ocean. The winds from the oceans carry water and bring rain. It is part of the water cycle. The monsoon winds carry water and it rains. Clouds bring rain and give us happiness. Farmers in our country depend mainly on rains for their harvests. There are many folk songs associated with clouds and rain. However, it is not always a happy ending. Rains often create problems. In nature itself, there are certain situations that can sometimes create disasters and pose threat to humans, animals, and plant life. Let us study two such situations, thunderstorms and cyclones, in our next subtopic. Summary. Air around us exerts pressure. Air expands on heating and contracts on cooling. Warm air rises up, whereas comparatively cooler air tends to sink towards the Earth's surface. As warm air rises, air pressure at that place is reduced and the cooler air moves to that place. The moving air is called wind. Uneven heating on the Earth is the main cause of wind movements. Winds carrying water vapor bring rain. That is all in this topic. Keep learning.